Welcome to Critical Condition. My name is Joe, and we're here to talk about sports. So, it's a beautiful day. Why is that? Because NBA playoff basketball is back, finally. Today, we're going to go over the first round of the playoffs. A lot of questions. Will the Lakers fall? Can the Blazers actually do it? Will the Clippers show up? Can the Mavs pull off an upset? Will Giannis disappoint? Plenty of questions. We're going to go over the first round right now. So, just to do this, I actually have a good friend of mine, TV from Tvonbasketball. TV, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Excited for the NBA playoffs starting up today. I mean, this is the best time to be an NBA fan, and honestly, just
It is.
excited. I mean, repping the Raptors right now.
There you
Hopefully,
go.
we can do some more.
And so TV, you do pretty much your TV on basketball. So it is your
Yeah.
podcast, which you go over and you really go dig deep into the game of basketball, man. What do you want to say about that?
Oh yeah. So yeah, on TV on basketball, what I do is I do two podcasts a week. Every Monday and Friday, I like to do recaps on what has happened throughout the week in basketball. And also, if you want to follow me just for recaps on the games that you've missed, I mean, follow at TV on basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can see that I've post videos on just recaps on each of the games from the night before. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a huge basketball fan, and yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of videos with Joe in the past talking about basketball, and it's been really fun. So if you want the best basketball content, just come over to my channel.
And he's also on Apple Podcast, Anchor,
Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect.
So you catch him there, man. That's he's the guy to go to when it comes to your basketball content. So we're gonna start off real quick now with our basketball predictions for the first round. So we're gonna go and just go over with the East right now. So for the East, pretty plain and simple for me. Bucks versus Magic. I have the Bucks winning this. Clean sweep, 4 games. Giannis is dominating. The Bucks are ranked top 5 in defense. Veteran coach, just better all around. It's going to be an easy one for me. I have the Bucks winning against the Magic in 4 games. Clean sweep. Another clean sweep coming up. Now I have the Raptors versus the Nets. Toronto has really surprised a lot of teams just because of the fact that obviously they lost Kawhi Leonard. That was a major loss for them. But Nick Nurse has kept this team playing. He's coaching them up well. A lot of people are saying that they compare Nick Nurse to pretty much being in basketball what Bill Belichick is to football and the way he analyzes. And he's become known as the best in-game coach that there is in basketball right now. It's been really impressive. So for me, I have the Raptors winning this series easily, 4 games to 0. Now the next one, Boston versus 76ers. So interesting game that has really turned into a not so interesting game when it looks like
Oh
all
yeah,
those injuries that have the
yeah,
76ers have encountered now. No Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid is hurt. And to me, I mean, this is pretty clear cut for me. I will give the 76ers a game just because I feel like things do happen. But to me, Boston wins this series 4 games to 1. Again, complete mismatch now. All the better players are in the Boston team, better
yeah.
coach, just a better system, top 5 in offense, top 5 in defense. Philadelphia is going to be no match. So I have Philadelphia losing this series in 5. For the next game, I have the Heat versus the Pacers. Now, on the East, this is the most enticing matchup for me. You have Jimmy Butler. You have the emergence of TJ Warren. And it's really in this bubble predicament, really anything can happen. Obviously, there's no home field
Yeah.
advantage. You're on a neutral site. But when I look at the Heat, I just feel like they're just a slightly better. Just because when it comes to a
Yeah.
7-game series, this is where the Sabonis thing is really going to start affecting the Pacers as you're going
Yeah.
into the series and you're going into games 5, 6, and 7. Who's going to step up, right?
Yeah.
Oladipo's there. TV, is Oladipo on there? I've seen him play.
Yes, he has. He is back on the court. I mean, he hasn't looked the same, but yeah, he's
So,
definitely been.
this bubble thing is really affecting just because of that. I'm going to go ahead and take the Heat to win this series 4 games to 3. It's going to go all 7 games. It's going to be the
Wow.
most entertaining one there is here. So I have Miami winning this series in 7 games, 4-3. TV, you want to go ahead and give me your East predictions?
All right, perfect. In terms of the Bucks and Magic 1-8 matchup, I completely agree with you. It's going to be a 4-0 sweep. I tried to give Magic the benefit of the doubt in some areas, and I was digging so hard to find any advantages that they had against the Bucks, and I just couldn't find a single one. Honestly,
Absolutely.
one of the best, honestly, one of the best teams in the league, and like just looking at matchups, they just have like there's nothing like on the Magic that stands out to me that can like really take down the Bucks. I mean, they're gonna need Vucevic to be good. They're gonna need Aaron Gordon to be good. But Vucevic
Absolutely.
is going up against one of the better interior defenders in the league. I mean, Brook Lopez, Aaron Gordon. I mean, he's coming off that hamstring injury which he suffered against Toronto, so that's going to be a concern going into the playoffs. And
Definitely.
like I said in my podcast and like Paul multiple times, this is an all-time like this is a historically great defense in the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Magic are just and the Bucks are just basically superior to Magic in all aspects. Like I tried my best to find something positive
Can
about the
we
Magic,
skip it?
but exactly. This is one of those games where like in the series where you're like, okay. I mean, this is like very like similar to the series last year against the Detroit Pistons, where like without Blake Griffin, they absolutely like got destroyed by the Bucks by like an average margin of victory of like over 20 points. It was like
And that was
absolutely
a
crazy.
sweep. I remember that. It was just an overall
Yeah,
dominant performance. I feel like we can
yeah,
expect the same thing coming in here. I wish we could skip it. There's a couple of those that you just want to go ahead and skip
exactly.
and go to the next round.
Yeah, and obviously the injury to Johnson, I think, like just makes it even like worse chances. I mean, you like honestly, maybe they would have given a chance, especially because he's one of the, like the better young defenders in the league. I mean, he could maybe like match up with Giannis, but honestly, there's just nothing here, and yeah, the 4-0 sweep is pretty imminent here. Raptors Nets, you give them a 4-0 sweep for the Raptors. I'm a Raptors fan. I know how we do things. We are gonna lose one game. We always do. I would love there to be a sweep finally, but we're always going to lose one game. But so I have the Raptors winning this series 4-1. I mean, and I think like what's different about this year compared to last year is like I was expecting a sweep last year against the Magic, but this year, like watching the Brooklyn Nets, seeing how good Karis LeVert is. I mean, this guy made the all bubble second team too, so the league knows how good he's been playing right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like one of those things like where the Nets play hard. They're gonna play hard, but in terms of the series, I mean, the Raptors play hard too. It's like they're one of the top teams where they're not like, oh, we have the talent, we can just like walk through the series. No, they have Nick Nurse, like you said, one of the best coaches in the entire league. He knows how to motivate his guys. The Raptors team feeds on being told that they're the underdogs. I mean, you hear them talking about it time and time again. You guys keep doubting us, we're gonna keep proving you wrong, and that's just the mentality there is, no matter who they face. So I mean, I know that tradition's gonna happen. They're gonna lose one of these games eventually, but I still have them winning this in very comfortable fashion.
So what do you have them in at? 5 games, 4 games,
5 games, five
five
games,
games?
five
Okay,
games.
cool.
Yeah, 5 games. So 4-1 the Raptors. 76ers Celtics. You had them going 4-1. I have the Celtics winning it in 4-2.
Okay,
And I'm like, I'm giving
interesting.
70. Yeah, it's interesting because if we even talked about this in my last podcast. Like we talked about how the 76ers look like an absolute mess. Like we don't trust them whatsoever coming into the playoffs. And that was with Ben Simmons. Now that he's
Yes.
not here, like he's like maybe like it would seem like it would be even easier for the Celtics. But the thing is, I mean, Joel Embiid has such a huge advantage over the bigs of Boston. I just think that like himself, like he's gonna have like one of those like all-time great series where he's probably gonna average like near 30 points, almost 15 rebounds, and I think that him and Horford inside is gonna be like a lot for the Celtics to handle. And I mean, this all relies on them two being great, but I completely agree with you. The Celtics just have the overwhelming amount of talent. I wouldn't be surprised if it went 5 games, like you said, but at the same time, I just think that the big men of the 76ers are just too much. Like, I mean, they have Ennis Cantor and Daniel Theis on the Boston side to defend those guys. I don't think it's like much of like a
Definitely not. Yeah, they're definitely Boston's definitely not gonna win because of Cantor or Tice for sure. I
yeah,
agree with that.
exactly. So yeah, so I mean, I think Embiid just gonna be great this series. But I just think that, like you said, Boston has just completely overmatched him, and like especially like the guard aspect and all that, especially without Simmons. So yeah, I have the Celtics winning that series 4-2. And then the Heat series versus the Indiana Pacers. You have a lot more faith in Indiana than I have. I have this series going 5 games.
5 games.
Um,
Wow.
5 games. I'm not as high on the Pacers as a lot of people are. The CJ Warren thing, although it has been a great story, has been a great thing. I
Yeah.
mean, he made all
34,
bubble
34
first team.
points, 34 points a game, man.
Exactly. I mean, he had a career high 53 in the first game. So like he's like honestly been a great player for them. But I think in this series they're gonna absolutely miss, like you said, Domantas Sabonis. That injury is absolutely key in here. And with Miles Turner being such an inconsistent player and Bam being as
That
good
he
as
is.
he has been this year, Like I think the inside advantage is so on Miami's favor, and I don't know, like the Pacers are just beat up. I mean, TJ Warren has plantar fasciitis as well. I mean, the same injury as Sabonis, although not as severe. Oladipo hasn't looked the same. And they're not as deep. I mean, people forget too, they're missing Jeremy Lamb, who was giving them like 17 points a game before he got injured back in February.
Yeah.
So there's just like a lot of like missing pieces for them. The TJ Warren hype team has been great, but in games against the Heat, he has shrunk against Jimmy Butler. And I think the Heat are just going to outwork them. They're just going to outwork them every single game.
I will go ahead and say this, though. Jimmy Butler's a baller. No disrespect. I guess here's where the critical part of my show is.
Yeah.
I don't trust Jimmy in some big moments, man. And I think that's more than – I think I agree with all the points that you say, but I think that when it comes to the Heat, like, I mean, the biggest question for me is how far can they go with Jimmy, you know? And I just don't – there's just a lot of spots where I don't trust Jimmy Butler. I may get a lot of hate for that, but that I think it's more of me not trusting the Heat than putting in my faith in the Pacers. But I agree with all those points there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just like the Heat's roster, mix of nice young players, nice mix of like some veterans there with like Iguodala and Jay Crowder off the bench. I just think that just like all those factors coming into it, like, doesn't make this series as competitive as a lot of people make it believe. So I have, so 4-1, I have the Heat winning.
All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go to the Western Conference. There's some juicy matchups in here. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Lakers versus the Blazers. It's a big one for me right now. A lot of people are questioning LeBron James and what he's going to do. Is his really time? Here's the thing that people seem to forget. LeBron James has never lost in the first round to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. If it's first round LeBron James, it's over for you.
Playoff LeBron is a different kind of LeBron. Now, what I think is going to happen, though, and mark my words on this thing, I believe the Blazers win game one. And I feel like the media's going to overblow things and say that LeBron's done and this is it and that's what we've been talking about and he's struggling. And I think LeBron's just going to come in and just really take it to them because of the fact that they don't have anyone that can guard LeBron there. There's no one that I can trust. Who are you going to put on him? Carmelo? And no disrespect to Carmelo. Carmelo's had a great story. He's been great. But I just don't see that right now. I feel like it's like LeBron over anything to me at this point. So, and by LeBron over everything, I mean, it's just there's a situation that I don't believe that he cannot overcome. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Lakers in this series in 6 games. It's going to go all the way to 6 games, 4-2. I have the Blazers winning game 1, and then after that, it's going to be the LeBron James show. Portland, great story, though. It was nice to see that. So that's where I have that, LA in 6. So now another LA team, Clippers versus the Mavericks. I'm very torn between this series just because of the fact that I do not trust, and I'm going to the critical part of this thing again, do not trust Paul George. Paul George is an irritation to me. It's an irritation when it comes to the playoffs. Great player, great defender, but he's been on the wrong side of certain highlights. And that is something that I do not trust. I feel like it's something that can derail Kawhi. And, this matchup scares me more than what a lot of people are talking this up to be. I have the Clippers winning in 6 games. I wanted to go to 7, but I feel like the veteranship that this team has over this young Mavs team and the way they can play defense, as long as Paul George shows up, it's going to really make the difference here. Kawhi's been there, done that. Doc Rivers, been there, done that. Big advantage. No disrespect to the Mavs. Luke is a fantastic player, but it's just not their time. Too early. So I have the Clippers winning this in 6 games, 4-2. Nuggets versus Jazz. To me, it's the most interesting series just because of the fact that I feel like the Jazz are in a bit of a disadvantage. They lost Bogdanovic. And I've had conversations with you, and you've said this, and you've called this out, that they're going to miss him, and I 100% agree with you. And the Nuggets, another thing you called, giving you credit for this, Michael Porter Jr.
I'm going to rep that prediction all day long. This guy's been a monster.
And he's been flourishing. And I like Jokic. I think that in the first round, Jokic can get you out of the first round without a doubt. I feel like I trust the Nuggets slightly more than I do with the Jazz. Again, they're gonna miss a couple key players from the Utah side of the basketball. basketball court.
I,
And what's up?
not to interrupt you or anything, but it's like I don't know if you know this, but
Yeah,
Mike Conley is also going to be out for the first few games because he's leaving the bubble because his son is born. Congratulations to him, but he's going to miss I
congratulations
believe
to
the
him. But
first 3 games.
I didn't know that. So that's a major loss. I have the
Okay,
Nuggets, regardless. It doesn't really change a lot of this. I have the Nuggets in 6, 4-2.
okay, okay.
Oklahoma City versus the Houston Rockets. To me, this is the most juiciest matchup that we have on the slate.
100%.
And I'm so excited for this. What else could you not want? Westbrook, Harden, even though Russ is out,
Yeah,
versus the
that
Oklahoma
hurts.
City Thunder. Chris Paul pretty much left for dead in Oklahoma City. They really didn't care about him. This is it's got everything, man. It's got drama. It's got the
Yeah,
story. It's got headlines. It's got the names. And I have Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Houston Rockets in 7 games. And I feel like it'd be
7.
the only fitting way for Chris Paul to end his season, regardless of what happens in the future. Chris Paul sending his team home in the first round.
Yeah,
And that'd be very fitting. And Russ yet having another exit. And, I play this off with stories, but to me, just the result is, though, that the small ball thing isn't going to work out. I feel like Steven Adams is
yeah,
a great leader and a great center and can protect the rim well. I feel like the guard combo that they have in Oklahoma City is just going to be too much. And Harden, we've seen him. He needs Russ. And him not
yeah.
having Russell Westbrook is going to affect this a lot. So I feel like ultimately all those crazy scoring games that Harden will have he'll cool off. And without a doubt, I feel like it's gonna put an end to Houston's season. I have Oklahoma City beating the Houston Rockets in 7 games. TV, what do you think on the West?
Okay, so going first, Lakers versus Blazers. You have them going 6 games, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you have them going 6 games. I have the Lakers winning this in 5 games. Um, Obviously, the Blazers have been this amazing story. Lillard has been absolutely phenomenal, bubble MVP and all that.
Yes.
They've looked absolutely fantastic. The Lakers are still the #1 seed. But my concern here is, and watching these, especially these Blazers games as of late, is that, like you said, no defense. They
At
have
all.
absolutely no defense whatsoever. Like the fact that they have to go against the Brooklyn Nets and allow 133 points in a non-overtime game scares me a lot, especially when you're facing the Lakers, who are top 5 in offense, top 5 in
In
defense.
defense, yeah.
They're going. They're just a better team, just like all around, and that's what's going to concern me. Especially like you said, they have no one to guard LeBron. They had Trevor Ariza just in case this matchup actually happened, but he had to opt out of the bubble due to some like court complications.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the Lakers just are what people forget that this is like one of the better like offensive teams in the league, and I think LeBron's going to absolutely feast, like you said. Like maybe like I like your storyline saying that the Trailblazers are going to hit him early where they not expect it, especially in game 1. But I think like once like the Lakers get that wake up call, they're just going to
It's
be
done,
locked
man.
in. They're going to be focused, and they're just going to go for the kill, no questions asked. So yeah, 4-1 Lakers. I just think they're just going to have no answer for LeBron. I mean, at least they have something for AD. They have like that 3 center rotation, but LeBron's going to absolutely feast in the series, and just the Lakers are a better team. And I just think like that defense is just going to be such a deterrent for them. Going on to the next
Better.
series, we have the Clippers, like I said, versus the Mavericks. You have this series going 6 games as well. Again, I have this series going 5. And the reason of this being is that I think a lot of people are not talking about the Mavericks enough. I mean, sure, they have Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis playing absolutely fantastic. But what people don't realize and like what they watch in the games is that they're basically a carbon copy of Portland in terms of their defensive ability. And what I mean by that's like they have nothing. They have absolutely
They don't.
nothing. They don't. And obviously the loss of Dwight Powell earlier in the season absolutely hurts their interior defense. But Kristaps Porzingis, he's 7'3", but he cannot defend anyone. He
It
cannot
cannot,
defend like
and that's a concern. That's a huge concern.
yeah, that's a massive concern. And when you have people like Kawhi Leonard who can score like what's the best of him, Paul George, he could be a bit iffy in the playoffs, but I think that with the lack of defense Dallas have, I think he could still put on some big numbers. Williams coming off the bench, Montrezl Harrell, like they just have so many
All
scoring
back.
threats that, and for Luka, people forget like as much as he's been great, this is his first playoff series. This is his first taste of playoff basketball, and he has to face the defensive like 3-headed monster of Patrick Beverly, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. He's gonna be super overwhelmed by this, and I think it's gonna like that storyline is not being told enough. I think that Luka is great enough that they're going to be able to take one game, but the Clippers' overwhelming defensive talent and offensive talent is just gonna like take them to victory in this one.
5 games. All right.
5 games. Yeah. We move on to the next series, and we have the Nuggets versus Jazz. I had the exact same prediction as you, having Nuggets winning 4-2 over the Jazz until the Mike Conley situation, and that's just another guy that's just like who was like the third or second like scoring option on this team now that Bogdanovich is not here, and with him missing the first 2 or 3 games of the bubble, I just think that just puts a lot more pressure on Donovan Mitchell, and there's just not a lot of help around him. Because of that, because of Conley leaving, I have the Nuggets winning this series 4-1 instead of 4-2.
Wow.
I'm really proud of my Michael Porter prediction. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic coming into the playoffs. But now that Conley's not there, I think that the one person that's going to really show up here is going to be Jamal Murray. He just came back from injury and all that, but I think this is the type of series, especially with the lack of defense coming from those guard positions now. He's going to play absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I mean, it sucks because Bojan Bogdanovic is out and Conley, so that's 2 scoring options gone for them. But yeah, I mean, I think the series is going to be shorter than what a lot of people think. I have the Nuggets winning 4-1 here.
All right.
Yeah. And now for the Rockets versus Thunder. I think this can go either 2 ways. I was really debating between 2 predictions. One, I had the OKC winning in 6 games, or I have Rockets winning in 7. And I decided to go with OKC in 6 because of that Russell Westbrook injury. People I don't understand how much importance this guy has on his team. This guy not only is their leading assist man, this guy is their leading rebounder on that floor.
It's a major loss.
This guy is a major loss. And we've seen what Harden has done by himself in the playoffs. It's kind of he could take you over so far, but especially with this new Rocket system where they go small ball and all that, it's going to be are you asking too much of Harden? I think that's what's going to especially going further into the series.
Yeah,
sure, they have Eric Gordon back from injury, but like I said, like I just said, he just came back from injury. You can't expect him to be 100% right away. He's going to take some time to find his groove once again.
It is going to take time.
Yeah. And what sucks is that the Russell Westbrook status is still in the air. We don't know how long he's going to be out. They say it's going to be the first few games, but they also said it could be longer. So
it could be extended amount of time.
Yeah, the fact that there's not really a specific date that they have, I think is shows that it's a lot more serious than that they initially expected. And I think that although Harden's going to probably put on an all-time great performance, it can only take him so far. Your Thunder team is just great roster up and down. They have lots of scoring options, especially having probably the 6th man of the year in Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul, being one of the better point guards in the league, Alexander, Adams on the inside, which I think he can absolutely dominate. If
you can dominate the center position there for them.
Yeah, and people don't talk about it enough. They have Gallinari, who's basically taller than every single Rocket on that court, who can shoot the 3-ball at a consistent rate as well. Yeah, so. Yeah, it was a tough decision, because if Russell Westbrook is there, I would have had the Rockets in 7. But now that he's not there, I have the Thunder winning in 6.
Awesome. So thank you for your predictions. TV, is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Just follow Tvonbasketball on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all that good stuff. Also check out my YouTube channel. I've been doing recaps there every day, and also I have a video version of this podcast, which Joe will be on later. So check that out whenever I release it today.
So thanks for stopping by, TV. Thanks for the predictions. And now, so these are our predictions. I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me who you think. Do you agree or disagree with us? Our predictions may not be the right ones, but we do want to hear yours. Leave your comment in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave it a like. And if you enjoy content like this, if you just subscribe, I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.